Monica, here we are back again for a great conversation. We are at the end of January. So I thought, why don't we just look? The month of January is always about big goal setting, resolutions, imagining this better version of ourselves. And usually by the time we get here at the end of January, people are like, oh, crap, it's still me. I'm still the same person. I forgot what my goals were. What did I say I was going to do? Like going to the gym's already gone. All of their diet plans are skewed now. And they're like, okay, well, maybe next month or when February starts, we're already starting to negotiate with ourselves on why we didn't follow through on these big things we've set. First of all, do you have anything like that like you've experienced ramping up or like how you pace your new year? And now that we're at the end of the first month of 2025, can you believe it? 2025, we're in. I keep telling people I'm living in the future. So the first month of it is gone. How was it for you? How do you align with the things you're wanting to do in life and that sort of thing?
Yeah. So, I'm kind of like you. I feel like I am living in the future a little bit. 2025, even saying it out loud feels
there's just
out there. But it's so far, it's been everyone I've talked to, even traveling around and talking to different people, it's like this January has been so insane on every front, just fast paced, go, 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 go. And on one hand, it's really good because, you feel like you're being productive and that, things are happening. So hopefully positively. And there's been some overcoming. But at the same time, if things are going really fast, especially at the beginning of the year, it's really easy to go, what was I supposed to be focused on?
Yes.
What was the most important thing now? Just because you get in the flow of life and it kind of, that current can just take you. That's been my personal experience. But now this week, I feel like I've had a little bit of a breath into an ability to go, okay, what do I need to be focusing on? Honestly, it did sweep me up. It's been a crazy few weeks. But refocusing now this week has been really, really important. In another way, like you mentioned, the gym and commitments and things like that. I've been going to the same gym for, I don't know.
You're already consistent and faithful in that. That's not a new goal or a new aspiration for you.
What I was going to say about it though is that what I've seen in people, because most gyms, they see this influx around New Year and then about week 2, 3, it just gets less and less and less. But I think a lot of people might be in the same boat because, yesterday I went to the gym and I swear there was more people there than there was the first week of January.
Really?
And very surprised
wow.
At the sight of it. And so, sometimes I think our timing, we expect everyone to be the 1st of January, but honestly, it could be right now. You might be considering, all right, I've got 2025 ahead of me. What do I want to focus on? What's the most important thing? What do I need to let go of? What's hindering me? Those kind of questions are could be right now being asked. And
honestly, it's so funny you said that. I had that thought this morning. I know we were going to talk, and I know we always just come to these subjects without a real clear picture of what we're going to talk about. But I was like, well, this feels like a great week to really set the tone for what we want 2025 to be. It's almost like instead of getting all caught up in January 1 is my favorite holiday. I love restarts. I love refresh. I love new beginnings. I love that sense of things are possible. But the actual functionality, that's what I thought that this morning. I was like, wouldn't it be great if you just took January as your ramp up month? It's almost like a soft open of a restaurant or something where you're we're not really open for business for these goal setting because we're just going to get through the post holiday. We're going to get into the mix of the new year. And then at this last month, we're really going to set our course. I think that's not a bad strategy for going, okay, so I don't feel like I've missed everything. Because of how the pace of transition really takes hold and the things we're trying to get kids back to school and kind of finding the new rhythm of the year and all of getting things taxes and all the stuff that goes together for our finances and going, okay, all that stuff's kind of in motion now. What do I want to give myself to this year?
Yes.
So You listen. This is what I told you before we started. It's like your core message or your overarching umbrella or your battle cry is make meaningful progress. Right?
Yes.
And so I love that. I love that. I mean, that people, man, we've got clients that are reaching out and saying, we want Monica just because of that phrase right there, that language, that we want our people to make progress in a meaningful way. And so I love that idea because I love progress myself. So our friends listening here, when they're thinking about moving forward into this year, and we all want to make progress personally and professionally, like what is an attribute that you say, hey, listen, if you're going to make meaningful progress this year, just not like spinning your wheels and just not like getting ahead a little bit, but like something that really matters. What's like one perspective, point of view, kind of way you filter, is this meaningful progress or is this wasteful progress? Like, is this leading me towards an end that I don't even really want to be at? So give everybody like an inside scoop on how they know their progress can be meaningful.
Um, for me personally, progress involves those goals, involves those lines and those mile markers. But if it's meaningful, then it's about the journey as well. It's about the whole process of it being fulfilling on the way to those mile markers, or in between, I should say, the mile markers. And so the way that we are able to find progress between the mile markers even is when we are anchored and guided by something deeper and more meaningful. And so staying anchored into those things that are most important, I think, is the most important.
When you say that, when you say anchored into, are you saying our values, or are you just saying like a relationship that's really important? Because I know you, like, all of your stuff is kind of centered on values-based cultures, values-based decision, values-based life. And so if the progress is going to be meaningful, it's anchored in these values. But like, are there other things besides like our personal values that like you think of when you think of that?
Well, I mean, I think of anchor habits as well. I mean, there's certain things that that really set other things in motion if I do them consistently. And so like if we're going, for instance, going to the gym, like that is an anchor habit. If I uproot that habit, man, it really does throw a lot off in my life. And then like for my kids, even like there's anchor habits with my kids. There's things that are non-negotiable I do every single day with them. We check in after school, ask how was your day, any highlights, any lowlights, anything notable, anything exciting, horrible. Let's talk about that. Like it's just it's an anchor habit. Like not a day goes by where I don't dig in with them and ask that. When it comes to work, it's like their anchor habits. I'm looking at my goals and I'm looking at the different aspects that I want to keep in mind, even if I don't spend significant time on them, that they're there, and that sometimes those are the moments where the best ideas spark, because I'm not just like, oh, come on, I gotta like come up with something. When I just like give it a glance and then I mull it over kind of in the back burner and let it simmer, all of a sudden something great comes out of it. And so
did you experience, was people are listening, do you experience, because like you're talking about like even like when I talking about the gym now being this anchor habit, oftentimes people have that as the goal. So is it like some of these goals that are now established anchors? Is that kind of how people, it's like, hey, I want to set this thing in motion. Like I aspire to go to the gym 3 days a week or 5 days a week or do whatever. And then is the idea, like, has it happened for you? Because I think this is true of my life, that some of these things that were like I aspired to achieve, and it's like, okay, then I'm going to lock that. Like, it's like, lock that in. That is now a core characteristic of who I am. And now I can reach for other goals because now I have this thing that once I wanted to be, I've accomplished, I anchor it down, and now I go from there. Is that kind of what you experienced? Or like, because even now you're talking about that's now like an anchor habit. It's like for other people listening, they're like, Lord, I'm just trying to hit that as a goal.
Yeah. I think I might think a little differently about this than most people. Just listening, this idea that a goal is like just some point of arrival.
Something to achieve.
That's not exactly, I mean, I do have those things. There are like certain, material things that I'm like, I want to do that, see that kind of thing. But much more often than not, I see goals as systems and habits. Like I'm achieving when I'm consistent. So if I'm doing this every day, if I'm consistent in that thing, I'm living my goal, I'm living my values, and that's meaningful progress. And so I have those, one-off goals, but I think
Mhm.
more so it's the consistent, it's the systemized, it's living out of that place to go. Because, we say values aren't real unless they're consistent.
Yeah.
Like you could say, I have a deep value of like being honest and having character. But if you're not consistent in that, no,
Yeah.
you don't. No,
Yeah.
I'm
It's not
sorry.
really.
It's true.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I think for the goals and making meaningful progress, we've got to filter it through the filter of consistency of systemized practice.
It's interesting, and maybe this will be a part 2, or we'll keep talking here on this. The idea of just like when I was, and it could be like an aging thing. So when I was younger, I would set a goal like I want to read a book a month.
Mhm.
I want to read 2 books a month. I want to I set a goal to achieve this practice that wasn't a normal practice in my life then.
Yeah.
And then like reading 2 books a month would shift to I want to learn 5 new things this year. Well, I would do that through reading the books. Then all of a sudden, the reading the books wasn't about reading the books. It was about what is the knowledge I'm gaining? Like, what are some perspectives I want? So all of a sudden, the goal shifted to not just reading books, but like extracting. And then it was like, I want to practice a new behavior. I want to incorporate a new skill or new behavior in my life, which is like reading a book, learning it, and then doing it. It's like, so it's almost like as we age, the progression of what we're recognizing is really what we want from it. But maybe it is like that baby step where it's like, you know what? I don't have the habit of reading. So if I'm gonna ever get to an end result of a new behavior, I wasn't even thinking of it at the time. It was like, I just want to be a reader. I know leaders are readers. I want to expose my mind to new thoughts, expose my mind to new ideas. Like that's the way you do it. So I don't have that discipline. I want to practice being a reader. And so it's almost like the older, as time goes on, the progression of what we value from the things we kind of point our lives towards or what we're trying to get from them. Like how you're saying systemized. To me, it's like a layered in. Like reading a book is not a goal of mine ever again. It's like I want to learn. I want my mind to be exposed. I also want to take on some new practices. And I want to be challenged in the way that I think, and so like they're differing kind of approach, but with the exact same practice. Like I'm still going to read a book. I'm reading books right now so that those things happen, but it's shifted in that. And to me, I think it's probably the age or the like how we learn about ourselves, or we start learning really what do I want. It's almost like a boiled down like, let me get to the heart of what I'm really looking for in this. So,
yeah, getting to that heart of it, getting to the root of it, the anchor.
I mean, has that been a progression for you to go, now I'm systemized, or were you like 20 years old and you're like, I'm building systems in my life? Or did you like want to develop, because I don't know, like with your personality and how that was, has that always been the approach to you, or like, because mine has kind of evolved. I think my aspirations of whether achieving or like you're saying, like on the journey, the meaningful part of like, I want to read new books, but I want to enjoy the process as well. And, I want to, so has that been true of you, or how did that go for you?
I mean, I definitely think it's been something I've grown into. Like you fail enough at trying to achieve goals, and then you realize there's one of 2 problems.
Yeah.
Either the goals aren't good or your approach to it is bad.
Yeah.
So, and I think sometimes it's a little bit of both. Like sometimes the goals we're setting are not worth all of our effort. Like maybe we're close, but not there yet. And then sometimes it's just that our approach is wrong. And so I think with enough failures and trial and error, eventually I got to a place where I was like, I have got to, if it's not systemized, if it's not consistent, it doesn't even freaking matter. It doesn't matter what my effort is one time. It's like I want to be healthy. And so you eat one salad and you like, are like, I did it. No, you didn't. Like, you're not healthy.
Hey, man, I feel like I did it.
Yeah. And
That's all my options were.
I get a little bit of attitude with it because I think I've been so frustrated with myself in the past. And that's just part of growth, is that like we have to fail. We have to fall on our face and we have to get it wrong in order to figure out, oh, like I need to find a better way.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to talk about.
Yes, you do. And you're so good at it. People should call us and book you to come speak for that. So let me ask you this question, because one of the things that I looked at this year, because I'm just in a new season of life myself, and like my values and kind of our values, and it's like, hey, and what if we just look at everything that we say is important to us and attach one aspiration to that? So it's almost like not creating a goal and then going, oh, let's take that and attach to a value. It's like, well, let's look at the things we say are most important and go, what would be really great if we made progress in that area, and kind of like filtered through it, like created it through that lens, instead of like attaching them after the fact, which is when you're, first of all, it means you have to know what your values are, which that's a really useful practice. Like for you to go, these things are really important and I've proven out like they really do matter. Like they're my belief system. I live out of them. So now if I'm creating goals, and so for me, this first month, I do word of the month. I really wanted to be content because I've been doing that the last couple of years. But this month has been like conviction. Like, what do I have a conviction about my beliefs so that it does align with where I'm targeting my life and directing my, aspirational stretch and reaching for things. It's like, what do I have a true conviction about? And what's just like, meh, okay.
Yeah.
And it really is a different, for me, it's like this evolution of goal setting and those sort of things like that. That feels right for me in this season.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. I love the word conviction. I love contentment too.
Yeah.
They're both like pretty powerful words. And I think they're both necessary, good words to, build a foundation with, because, one of them, to me, contentment has to do a bit with surrender. You're not holding everything so tightly that, that you can't change, and that you can't, be happy with where you are, and the people around you. But, the conviction piece, that's probably the most important thing to me, because that's everything springs out of that.
Yeah. 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 Okay, so let's give a final tip. Wrap this up for our happy listeners here and friends who like to just listen to us chat. Give them the, hey, it's the end of the month, it's beginning of the February. We are in 2025. Here's your call to action. Here's the takeaway for you today.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what's on my mind is, right now, like whether you started out with goals or, you're just now considering what the year ahead, what you want it to be, really. Start by being very aware of your present moment. Like, what are the circumstances right now in your life? What are they telling you? Like, if they're bad, like what got you here? Then you'll probably find out where you need to start as far as making change. Where are you at right now in your circumstances? Where are you at right now? What are your feelings telling you? Like, are you uncomfortable? Are you content? Are you happy? Like, listen, like be very present in your moment. Because no matter where your goals, no matter where you want to be, no matter where you want your goals to take you, like you're starting today, you're starting right now. And so like, be very present. Like, this is my lane. This is where I'm at. This is what I feel. And this is my starting point. And so I can accept that and then go, okay, now where do I want to go? Because you gotta understand the scope of where you're headed and then systemize the process.
And then just simply systemize all that. That's it. It's so interesting, Monica. We are so different. It's like, I'm like, I don't care how I feel. I am determined. I am thinking. I am aspiring. Like, so, like, I'm like, regardless of what you feel today, look at that thing where you want to be. Think about what you need to do and go, my feelings aren't going to dictate what I choose to do today. So like, even just in your language. I mean, I know you're not saying like letting
No.
your feelings lead you, but like it's like a self-awareness. Take inventory of life today, so you're starting
No.
from a place of truth. Like that's
Yeah.
really how I interpret it. But
Yeah. And
your language,
well, and I think also the reason why we, stay aware of our feelings is because they signal us. Like they give us signals. Like if we're frustrated and unhappy, then it's like, all right, where's that coming from? What's happening right now that's making me feel frustrated? And then you can get to the root of where real change is needed.
yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Hopefully somebody gets something from this. Share with us if you're watching, listening, on how you're aspiring towards greatness in this year or this month. And we hope to stay connected to you. See you. Bye.
Bye.